Hi and welcome back to Canada Top to Bottom. Let's get straight into the subject of today's video, and that is how to move to Canada from the United States. As you know, Canada and the US are neighbours indeed, sharing the world's longest land border at just under 9,000 kilometres long. There are so many reasons why people choose to leave their country of origin and settle in a different country. And despite the fact that America and Canada are often lumped into the same category of North America, they're quite different countries, and the last few years have seen a huge increase in American citizens looking north to make Canada their new home.
Some of the reasons Americans are moving to Canada in recent years has been for economic reasons, increased job prospects, political reasons, for study purposes, or maybe to be closer to family. Some view Canada as having a better quality of life than America, as despite most parts of Canada having a higher cost of living, Canadian residents have more access to social benefits, such as healthcare and paid maternity leave, and more paid holidays throughout the year.
Moving to Canada from the United States is slightly different to moving from other countries in the world due to the close relationship between the two countries, which means that although there isn't entirely free movement between them, there are some different rules for American citizens which other nationalities do not have the luxury of.
To begin with, there is a free trade agreement that brings together Canada, the US and Mexico into one trade region called CUSMA, or the Canada, United States and Mexico Agreement. This was formerly known as NAFTA, or the North American Free Trade Agreement. This agreement facilitates temporary entry into Canada for business people who are citizens of the US and Mexico and who are involved in the trade of goods or services or in investment activities. It doesn't provide permanent residence for these citizens. They are only permitted to enter Canada for a specified period of time, but it essentially allows for free movement of professional citizens from all three of these countries for work or business purposes, subject, of course, to them meeting other specific requirements. It is worth pointing out here that this agreement is only open to citizens of the US, not to permanent residents.
In an effort to make movement between the three countries as smooth as possible, all individuals coming to Canada through the CUSMA agreement do not require a labour market impact assessment, or LMIA, and business visitors do not require a work permit either. In addition, citizens of the US are exempt from the requirement for a temporary resident visa, and under the CUSMA agreement, applicants can apply at the border rather than having to apply at a visa office before arriving in Canada.
There are four categories within the CUSMA agreement: business visitors, professionals, intra-company transferees, and traders and investors. Let's look at each category in a bit more detail. Some of the activities engaged in by business visitors are related to research and design, or growth, manufacture and production, marketing, sales, distribution, after-sales service, advertising, tourist operations, and interpreters. Business visitors are authorised to enter Canada for business purposes and do not need an LMIA or a work permit.
Professionals are business people who enter Canada to provide pre-arranged professional services in the field for which they're qualified, either as a salaried employee of a Canadian enterprise, through a contract between the business person and a Canadian employer, or through a contract between the American or Mexican employer of the business person and a Canadian enterprise. Just some examples of the 63 occupations covered by the agreement are accountant, computer systems analyst, engineer, land surveyor, librarian, social worker, dietitian, physiotherapist, registered nurse, and geologist. Professionals do not need an LMIA, but they do require a work permit which they can apply for at the border.
Intra-company transferees are employees in a managerial or an executive capacity, or in a role which involves specialised knowledge of an American or a Mexican enterprise which has offices in both Canada and in the USA or Mexico. The employee is being transferred to the Canadian branch to provide services in the same role. Intra-company transferees do not need an LMIA, but they do require a work permit, which again, they can apply for at the border.
Finally, traders and investors are involved with trade in goods or services between the US or Mexico and Canada, or have committed or are in the process of committing a substantial amount of capital in Canada. Traders and investors must be employed in a supervisory or executive capacity or one that involves essential skills. They do not need an LMIA, but do require a work permit, and for this category only, they must apply for this work permit at a visa office before arrival in Canada.
The Canada, United States and Mexico Agreement is the only option available which is specifically for residents of the US and Mexico. However, there are a number of other options which US citizens can apply for, as well as nationals of other countries. To begin with, the most popular immigration pathway is through the Express Entry system, which is Canada's way of selecting skilled workers to immigrate. Express Entry is a points-based system, which means the more points you have, the better your chance of being selected. Across all three Express Entry programs, you are awarded points based on 4 basic areas: your age, your education, work experience, and language ability in English and/or French. Once you have your points total, you're entered into a pool of candidates, and candidates with the highest points are selected to apply for permanent residence.
Within Express Entry, there are 3 programs: Federal Skilled Worker Program, Federal Skilled Trades Program, and Canadian Experience Class. Each one has different requirements, but all are points-based programs.
The Federal Skilled Worker Program is for foreign skilled workers who want to immigrate to Canada permanently, and it's the most popular Express Entry program.
The minimum requirements to apply as a federal skilled worker are, firstly, that you've done paid work in either a managerial job, a professional job, a technical job, or a skilled trade for at least 1 full year in the past 10 years. You also need to achieve at least CLB level 7 in a French or English language test, have at least a high school diploma, and proof you have enough money to support yourself and any dependents during the process of moving to Canada.
The Federal Skilled Trades Program is for skilled and qualified tradespeople. The minimum requirements for this program are at least 2 years of full-time work experience in the last 5 years in an eligible trade, such as electrical and construction trades, agriculture, manufacturing, or butchers and bakers. There are no education requirements for the Federal Skilled Trades Program, but you will need to prove that you can support yourself and any dependents financially.
The third and final program in Express Entry is the Canadian Experience Class, which is for foreign workers who have some experience working in Canada. To qualify for this, you need at least 1 year of full-time paid work experience in Canada in the last 3 years in an occupation which is either managerial, professional, or a technical or skilled trade, and a language level of either CLB 5 or 7, depending on your occupation, in either English or French. Like the Federal Skilled Trades Program, there is no education requirement, but education will provide you with more points. You can click on the links below to find out if you are eligible under any of the Federal Express Entry programs.
The next option for coming to Canada on a temporary basis is a study permit. This is, of course, not a route to permanent residence. However, it's a great stepping stone for those wishing to apply for permanent residence in Canada further down the line. Students who study full-time in Canada for 2 years will be eligible for a 3-year postgraduate work permit after they have finished their studies. And with this Canadian work experience, they will be able to apply for permanent residence through the Canadian Experience Class. In addition to this, students are permitted to bring their family members with them to Canada, where a spouse or partner will receive a spousal open work permit, allowing them to work for any employer in any occupation, and any dependent children under the age of 18 will be able to attend school in Canada for free. We have put the link to more information about study permits in the description box below.
The next option we're going to talk about today is the Provincial Nominee Programs, or PNPs. Receiving a nomination from one of Canada's provinces is the single largest provider of points in the Express Entry pool, giving you a huge 600 CRS points, meaning that you will be near the top of the pile in the Express Entry pool and effectively guaranteeing selection for permanent residence. The provincial nominee programs are immigration pathways where different provinces target certain occupations or skills and offer foreigners a nomination to move to their province in order to contribute to the economy within the province. Now, each province has different needs, so you'll need to check where in Canada your skills are most desired. We have a full playlist on all of Canada's different provincial programs, so check it out. Basically, the more in demand your occupation is within a certain province, the more likely you are to receive a nomination.
Some provincial nominee programs are independent and some are linked to express entry, so the way you apply for them is different for all provinces and programs. You can either apply directly to the province that you're interested in, or you can enter the express entry pool and express your preference for a certain province or provinces, and wait for the province to contact you.
Finally, for those who have a family member in Canada, a fast-track route to permanent residence may be through family sponsorship. This, of course, will not be an option for everyone, but due to the proximity of the US and Canada, this is much more common than with nationals of other countries. Within the family class sponsorship category, there are some quite tight restrictions on who qualifies as a family member, but if you have a relative living in Canada, this could be a viable option. To begin with, the relative in Canada must be either a Canadian citizen or a permanent resident, and with a few exceptions, the only foreign nationals who currently qualify for sponsorship are the spouse, partner, or a dependent child who is under the age of 22. However, even if you do not fit into any of these categories, having a sibling in Canada can provide you with extra CRS points in the express entry pool, and some provincial nominee programs even award extra points for having a distant relative in the province, as it proves an existing connection to the province. Have a look at our video on family sponsorship for more information on this option.
Okay, so that's all for today. Hopefully we have given you some good places to start for how to move to Canada from the USA, and make sure you check out the links in the description box below for more information on any of the programs we have talked about. Hit subscribe for a steady flow of quality videos on Canada every week, and see you next time.